Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Akrazia Late Night. I'm one of your hosts, Dylan. I'm otherwise known as the Icy Muffin, and I'm a professional silver in CSGO.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Owen. My online presence is Vulcan. I play a lot of esports racing games. I play a lot of F1, Assetto Corsa. I like to code a lot and produce video productions and stuff like that.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Yeti, otherwise known as Victor. I am professional at getting carried by these two all the time, and met these two on CS, and it's been alright ever since.
Yeah, so we're gonna open it up by talking about sort of like the song of the week, the thing that we've been listening to a lot. Doesn't necessarily have to be like, new, it can be, but just something that's been really sticking with us this week, or we just can't get out of our heads. Dylan, do you wanna go first?
So the song that's really been hitting me hard right now is Real Life Stuff by Diplo. It popped up in the top 100 list, and I know it has a lot of crappy TikTok songs, but this one, it's one of the alright ones.
Why has it been in your head all week?
It has, I'm really into guitar, like guitar and ukulele kind of intros, and also I really just like male Jamaican accents in songs. Like, I think it's just fire. Like Royalty with X, that song with the Jamaican accents is fire. And Major Lazer, back in the day, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Who featured on it, did you say? Or was it like just Diplo?
It features Julia Michaels and Clever. I've never heard of any of these people, but I have heard of Diplo. He was popular back in the day.
I've heard of Julia
Michaels.
Michaels.
Respect to Diplo, right?
Yeah,
respect
exactly.
to him, like bringing out some unknown artists. That's super cool.
Nah, Julia
Victor,
Michaels
what are you
pretty cool. I've been listening to French shit, to be honest. French music,
What's the vibe with that?
I have no clue what they're saying, I'm gonna be honest. I just really like it.
Hey man, I listen to K-pop, so it's not much different.
Yeah.
You just know Je m'appelle? Is that it?
Je m'appelle, yeah. Je m'appelle, that's about it.
Je m'appelle Victor.
I didn't get that far in French class, but yeah, je m'appelle.
Shit, man. I took French for, 6 months? Or not 6 months, like half a school year. All I can remember is Je m'appelle and like merci.
Yeah, I took 2 years.
That's it.
Hey man, I took Chinese for my
2
entire
years.
5th grade class, and I remember nothing, and I got taught the curse
Not
words
even-
by exchange students.
Not even like a word or something?
Well, I remember "sia," which is thank you, but that's about it. Like, I know how to curse at people and say thank you.
I didn't even learn that. Damn,
Shit,
that's
man.
rough.
For me, I think I've got to go with Cherry Lips by Jakey Music. Now, you see, this was in my Spotify, like, Friday, new music. And it's weird because there's two, like, Jakey artists. There's, like, Nakey Jakey, who's, like, the YouTube guy. Super good music, in my opinion. I don't think Victor likes it too much. But for some reason, they're the same person on Spotify. Like, Spotify keeps getting them confused, so I get Jakey Music is recommended to me. And I really have been kind of with his music so far, but Cherry Lips, damn man, that shit hits. It's like so funky. Like, I was listening to it in the car the other day, and I was just like grooving along, just chilling, man. Like, that was super good, and that's just been like in my head all day, just been going. Super good song.
Is that the same person who makes cigarettes on patios? Or is it the wrong person?
That's a good question. That may actually be why he was recommended me. Let me look cigarettes. No, that's Baby Jake.
That's Baby.
What's
Okay, there's a lot of Jakes.
What's
There's a third Jake.
what's the lyric
There's
that I
a third
remember?
Jake in the world.
Something about eating glass.
What?
Uh,
What the fuck?
Yeah, something like that,
Shit.
right?
Oh, fuck. Now I can't remember.
It was Jakey. That's the only thing I remember about it. It's
Jakey.
eating glass.
Don't eat glass 'cause it's bad for your teeth.
Yeah, there we go. Cool.
Hey man, I couldn't remember.
I mean, he's right though. He do got a point.
He do.
Do you think like anyone can like eat glass, like without serious damage?
I've seen crazy stuff in videos. Like some people be putting their hands in boiling hot oil, so you never know.
I mean, I've seen people swallow swords, so I think anything's fucking possible.
Okay, buddy,
But like that's like you can train yourself.
Yeah,
like if you
true.
align your
You can't really
posture
train
and,
yourself to eat glass. That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Was it heavy rain or some shit where you like? He's
Yeah.
No,
Sean.
it's just not possible, bro. I
maybe
don't
like
see it.
Jaws from James Bond. You know, the guy with like the big metal
Yeah.
teeth. Just, you know.
Bro,
I'm gonna
that would
pretend I know what
suck
you're talking
so
about.
much eating glass. Oh my lord. You guys remember Black Ops? I don't know if you guys played Black Ops 1 campaign, but he like
Yeah.
Hudson slams this man's head into a window and then puts glasses in his mouth and then uppercuts him in the jaw. Oh man. As a kid,
Yikes.
I didn't really
Jesus
think that
Christ.
much about it, but now when I think about it, I'm like, oh god, if that ever happened to me, I
That-
think I'd rather just get shot in the
yeah.
head.
Jesus, yeah, just take me out. I don't want that shit ever.
Yeah.
No.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I remember learning in like, I think like junior school, like grade 5 or something, about like Victorian deaths and the way people would die is they just step on glass and it would get infected.
Oh.
And it'd
Oh,
be like,
no.
shit, you're dead. It's been a wild ride. The chimney sweep's dead.
Bro, imagine
That's it.
dying to rats. Like, come on, man.
Oh
Fucking
god,
rats.
no. Rats.
Honestly. Yo, so I've been learning up on New Mexico recently. Apparently, there's a form of the plague there.
What?
Oh, hold up.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but my mother was like, yo, you know, we gotta be prepared because there's the plague.
You know,
in
it's
New
not like
Mexico.
coronavirus is going on or anything, but
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
just,
you know,
the Black
the
Death.
plague. Yeah, the plague in New Mexico.
Yeah, it's like the mosquitoes or something, man.
Yeah, I think there was in China as well. There's the Black Plague going around, but like, we have a cure for the Black Plague, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. God just said, like, you know, multiplied by 2, Mario Kart star. Like, Jesus Christ, we're all dead now.
It's time for payback this year.
Yeah. Damn, man, I should have never stolen that candy from the candy shop.
Psh, bro, I was like 5 years old, bro. We were at the mall. I just put my hand in, grabbed like 20 rings, and skirted out.
Oh my god.
I remember that day,
not-
bro.
I'm not religious, but
Karma.
what have I done?
I got my ass beat that day
By your parents or
By
by
your
the
mother?
security guard?
by my mother.
What,
We've all had that.
you know,
Huh?
how did she beat you?
Chocolate.
Did she, what did she use?
Okay, yeah, cool. I can't go to an orphanage anymore. A wire.
A what?
Wires.
what now?
Wire.
Oh my
A
lord.
wire?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's like a
Like,
step up
round
from
the
a belt.
throat?
No, like
Or like-
She just like
Like
whipped you
a-
with it.
Like a charger and like crumpled it up and
like
just...
it's like the yellow, white, and red.
Oh, the audio
It's just
video
like-
cords.
Yeah.
from like a GameCube or something. She just took that.
Something
She's
like
holding
that.
the
It was like-
GameCube. She's just like whipping you with the fucking.
Yeah, bro. Just going
That's
crazy.
surprisingly, like, inventive. That's original. I like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're-
they beat
yeah.
Jesus with that.
The Romans were just like, all right, get the Wii. We're gonna use these cords real quick.
Like that.
Finish the Smash Bros. Brawl game.
Oh no. Nowadays,
Jesus Christ,
nowadays with
man.
your kids, you gotta take a DP cord and just whip them with it.
Just...
Actually, wait, that cord's too expensive. You might as well just take
Oh,
like
yeah, honestly, just
take a
do
VGA.
HDMI.
Yeah, or HDMI.
Actually, no,
VGA would be
VGA
way
is
more
the perfect
painful.
one. I have several old ones that don't work. I can ship them to you priority. Get them there overnight. Jesus Christ, that's crazy.
Yes.
Jesus. So today we're going to talk a little bit about our college lives and our lives post high school. We're going to talk about sort of what brought us to the colleges that we're currently at, how we like them, our experiences, and sort of a bit about our majors and why we chose those majors. So, because Yeti currently isn't in college, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let him wait a bit. I'm going to let him come up with something. Dylan, you want to talk about sort of why you chose to go to your current school?
Yeah, so the main driving factor in going to University of Oregon, that's the wrong finger, to going to University of Oregon, was mainly the architecture program and the fact that I'm too stupid to get into Cal Poly. So Oregon was kind of my my alternative for that. It was like, okay, I don't really want to go to Minnesota to Twin Cities. It's a good program, but I'm a California boy. I'm not really meant to freeze my ass off. So I was like, all right, Oregon. It's near California. It can't be that bad. I was kind of wrong about that. It gets to like 20 degrees. It's, whew.
Yikes.
I'm a little bitch when it comes to temperature. I can't really handle that. But architecture.
Have you
program,
gotten used to the temperature over time, or are you
I mean,
like still like
eventually,
the same when you got there?
eventually, when you're there for long enough, 40 becomes the new high of your day, and you're like, damn, this is warm. And then you come back to California for the winter break, and it's like 60 out, and you're like, dude, I could go to the beach right now, and it's like
Yeah.
hot right now. But no matter what anybody says to me, 30s will always be cold to me, no matter what.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually expect. I mean, I got hyped for Oregon as it went on because it became my favorite school, just out of like what I've been hearing. And then I went there for the first year, and I've never been a sports person. Every time 49ers came on football, I was just like, yeah, whatever. I don't really give a shit. But I'm gonna tell you, college sports, when your school is actually good at it. Sorry, no shade against your college, Owen.
Rip.
It's pretty hype. I mean, the first year I went there, last year, we won the fucking Rose Bowl. I mean, like, come on. I mean, we can't compete with like LSU or anything, but like, it was still pretty hyped for us to like succeed at something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not to mention, architecture's a fun major. I like creating things, and I like creative freedom, and I don't like math, which I can leave that to the engineers. So
How did you like get into architecture? Like what drives you, or I guess how did you sort of what pushed you towards it?
My parents, because they were always like, "Hey, later in life, you can't be dicking around without money, so we suggest engineering." And I was like, "All right, yeah, maybe." And then I took Algebra 2, and I was like, "You know what? Math isn't really my dig." And I was like, "Okay, I need something creative." So I was like, "All right, fuck it. Next option, cognitive science, programming an AI how to behave like a human." And I was like, I took a programming class, and I was like, "You know what? This is boring as shit." No offense. And then I was like, okay, I need something creative. And I was like, all right, what can I see? What can I actually physically touch and feel after I've created it? Well, architecture. You build a building, you see it built, you can walk in that bitch, and it's cool. I mean, creating buildings is something. There's nothing like it. Creating a building that vibes with the environment, and that your professor's like, yo, this is gorgeous. When your professor says it's gorgeous, you're done with life. You might as well just graduate and get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fun part with me for architecture. It's just all the practical stuff and all the very technical ways you need to make a building. But it's also very freeing to not only follow those standards, but also create. And that's kind of what architecture. That's why it's fun.
Would you say it's like a instant, or would you say that you get reward out of it only when it's done, or do you get reward out of it while designing?
I think if you're in a good program for architecture and you have good teachers, I think in the process of design is really fun, and also finishing is very rewarding, because in architecture you're pushed to recycle your design multiple times, because your first design is not going to be good, especially as a year one student. I mean, my last professor, he told me my designs were horrible throughout the entire term, and I was just like, man, I hate this fucking professor, man. Like, he just always shits on my design, and I get no compliments, and all the other people in my studio are like, he's like jerking them off in the fucking corner, and I'm just sitting here getting shat on. And then finally, at the end of the term, in like when he speaks to us alone, he's like, "You've evolved so much," and I'm like, "Oh fucking hell! Finally, I'm getting cummed on with the praise I deserve, bro." Like, it was so nice. And then in the final review, my professor, my first term professor, was reviewing me, and I look up to him. I think I want him to be my mentor, because he really helped introduce architecture to me in a really edible way. And he said, I was getting shot on the entire time on how hand drawing was just so unrefined. And then my old professor comes in, he's like, your hand drawing's gorgeous. And I'm just like, oh man. Like, architecture really is the career of egos. They build your ego up so high on purpose. And all architects are super posh and super fucking annoying. But that's what architecture is. It's a French. They use French words for God's sake. I mean, it has to be posh. It's like cooking. They're like mise en place, and you're like, yeah, I don't know what that means, but sure.
Shit, that's a programming term too.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was one of our first classes in programming. The teacher was like, "Hey, watch a video on mise en place and
Yeah,
how
you're
does
just
that
sitting in
apply
the
to
corner being
programming?"
like, yeah, creme fraiche. Just like, yeah,
I know exactly what the lamb sauce is.
exactly.
Um, so I guess how would you say your social life? Like, how did you meet your friends going to U of O, and sort of how do you think you're like in the friend group that you want to be, or do you think there's room to develop?
So the friend group that I started out with happened in it's called Introduction, and our mascot's a duck, so they spell it with like duck introduction. Oh, fuck my life. But I met my friend
Jesus
group
Christ.
in a hallway of the dorm that we were supposed to stay in for Introduction, and it's a 2 day long thing, and we all became a group of friends in those 2 days, and then we came to school and we were still friends. I mean, some people dropped off, but um, it was. I think there wasn't enough time to really see who people were because it was just kind of like dipping your toes in.
How would you compare? I guess how would you compare your social life in growing up in high school versus your friends at college and university? How do they differ? Like, where are the strengths there?
See, friends in high school. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I'm much closer with you guys than I am my college friends, but that's because we've had what like
A
6 to 4 years together. I mean,
Yeah.
we all been homies since like we were like developing in our teens. Now that we're adults, we're developing at college, but it's not to the extreme amount that it was in high school. Like we're used to this. We're like we have a system that we make friends with, and it's just different. And I think what's lost with making new friends is that brotherhood. Because when I go up to a new when I meet people, right? So when I met my girlfriend at now, we were like getting in that like knowing each other stage, and I just assume that people know everything about me because I can assume that y'all know everything about me because I've been around y'all for 6 years. But what I need to get in my head is that new people don't know me at all, and I can't just say some like whack ass jokes or some shit and expect them to be like, "Ha ha, yeah." Like I
Yeah.
say things and they're like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, "Oh right, yeah, duh." I mean, it's just I feel like I got to get back into the method of making new friends and how to introduce myself as a person to those friends because I've grown very complacent in the fact that I don't need to explain myself anymore. Like you guys just
Yeah.
know me. Like you literally just know me and I don't need to like worry about anything.
Yeah, I think new friends are difficult because when you're getting to know someone, like you're sort of, I guess you're considered friends, but you're not really that deep into it. It's difficult because you kind of have to think more. You're not, you're not on autopilot all the time. You kind of have to gauge this person and say,
yeah.
hey, is this joke gonna land?
Yeah.
Is there an issue with it? Where is that line with that person? And where's that line for myself? Where do I want to set those boundaries? But I mean, if I'm talking to you, for example, it's different because I'm on autopilot most of the time. I know where
Yeah.
that line is, and I know sort of what your humor is.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, how is college going for you? How did you find the social experience when you first arrived?
I got really lucky with my group of friends and who I was, I guess, spending time around in college. I met my group of friends by effectively got assigned my roommate my freshman year, and sort of he had a friend from high school who was also going to the same university that I go to, and his friend and his roommate, well, and that friend's roommate, came up and sort of said hello to my roommate, and we sort of conversed a bit, a bit back and forth, and like those two guys who were living in a different dorm were like, hey, we're having trouble with the internet, with the Wi-Fi. And I'm like, hey, I got this shit set up in like 2 minutes. I can totally come help down. And so I guess from there, I helped him set up the Wi-Fi, and we just played Smash for a good time. And I think my group. of friends is really formed around Smash because that's kind of what happened. I mean, we're all similar personalities and different personalities in ways, but I mean that's the one thing we had in common. Uh, God, I remember one of my best friends out there. We kind of had like an original couple people just playing Smash, and we'd leave the door open, and this one guy walks past, and he sort of reels back a bit, and he's like, "Hey, yo, can I hop on a game?" And he goes, gets his controller. He lives across the hall, and for like the first couple of days, I'm thinking this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, like he's so good at the game, and I'm kind of jealous in that way. Like I'm like, damn man, I'm so sweaty and he's so irritating to play against. And I was kind of irritated at the fact of all these good things about him. And then I sort of got to know him a bit, and now he's one of my best friends up there. Um, but we got really lucky as a friend group because within the first couple of weeks we kind of had all the pieces to the puzzle. And within that friend group, there's sort of these smaller friend groups where you can break down and do different things with different people. Um, but I found that like a lot of other people at the university didn't really have that friend group, didn't really have a solid friend group for a while. But I mean, we were like, I guess like tight since from like the first month. Like we would just sort of do all this stuff together, and we sort of knew everyone already. I mean, of course, like there was that new friend situation where you didn't know where everyone was, but I'm a couple months in. I felt like I'd known these guys for like a year, like we were really good friends. Um, and I think we're mostly all going strong by the end of the year. There's clashes between certain people, and there are days where you just don't want to talk to anybody, but at the same time, you have a lot of good moments, and that doesn't break you guys as friends.
Yeah, what I've noticed is that a lot of people are struggling to find friends. Like, there's a lot of people, or at least my mother knows because he's on the parent Facebook for my college. A lot of people are complaining that their kids don't have any friends, like at all. And I think the problem with that is there's such a wide demographic of people that you can talk to that it's overwhelming. I mean, at least at my school, 30,000 people, it's hard to choose your group of friends out of 30,000 people because that's a lot of people that you don't vibe with and that's a lot of people you can vibe with. But the thing is, it's hard to find those people because it's just so awkward to be like in the middle of class being like, hey, yo, you want to be friends? Because it doesn't work like that. You got to like naturally click. And it's really hard to force that connection. And I think the problem with people is that they get into a college class, they're like, all right, I'm just gonna take my class and go back to my room. And you really gotta dig deep and push yourself to talk to as many people as many people that sit next to you as possible. You just gotta turn next to you and be like, hey, I'm Dylan, I'm this major. What do you like to do? And you just gotta put yourself out there. And a lot of it will be awkward. A fuck ton of interactions will be just like they'll be like, yeah, I'm this, this, and this, and then 5 minutes later they'll walk away and go sit somewhere else, and then you're just like, damn, what did I do, bro? Do I smell like shit or something? And like,
Yeah,
and then like you just got to take a chance, and it's hard. It's not easy.
yeah. No, I think one of the biggest, most difficult things for people is common interests. I mean, you have so many people coming from so many different wide varieties of demographics and backgrounds and stuff that they enjoy. And I go to the University of Puget Sound, and it's a decently small school. I think when I was my freshman year, originally started with like I think 300 to 500 people, which is, I mean, it's a lot of people, but for college terms, it's not very many people. It's very small. Um, and so you have all those wide uh, demographics and backgrounds, and having such a little population makes it so difficult for those to clash. I think the good thing about being interested in something like video games, for example, is that it's such a wide sort of variation in all these different things that you can collide with. And I think that, if for us, for example, like Smash, that was the big thing for us, Um, and I don't think that I would have had an easiest time as I did making friends and becoming, I think, the person that I progressed over that year if I hadn't have had some experience with video games and Smash in specific.
I mean, I think the only reason we're actually friends with Yeti or Victor is because
Yeah,
of video games. I mean, you
the
met him in
video games. Yeah,
CS:GO, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
you brought him into a call with me, and we all played Killing Floor, and that's what we bonded over, all three of us.
yeah.
and then it just went from there.
Yeah.
We all started playing CS:GO together, and I think it was really easy to socialize with Yeti because he came from the same game that we play, and it's I think it's just video games and the internet in general make it really easy to relate to people, mainly because everybody's doing the same thing you're doing, and you can talk about either your love or your hatred for the game. For example, fuck Fortnite. Yeti, I'm sorry, but Fortnite is a dog shit game, and I hate it with
I
all
don't
of my
play it
heart.
no more. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeti, do you remember how I guess we met?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that right now. So I agree. Like, socializing is kind of weird for me, right? I don't just like go up and talk to people. Really, there has to be a reason. Whether it be because it's a coworker or like we're in the same class and we're working on a project together type stuff. I don't go to college, right? But I'm talking about like back to high school. There was always a reason why you would make a friend. It was never just like Dylan said, hey, you want to be friends? Because that's kind of weird. It's always a reason. So when we hopped on CS:GO, I had just built the computer, and it was a mutual friend of ours, TB Gaming.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the dude.
yeah, I hopped in a game with him, and you were there too. There was another mutual friend in there that we played with, uh, and after that we just kept talking, you and me, back and forth for a cool minute. And I was like, this dude's cool. I need someone to play with because CS:GO's annoying without a team.
still is annoying with a
I mean,
team.
Yeah, I mean, we were
true.
both dog shit back in the day. Like, I
I
mean,
was. Dylan carried me hard, and he still does
mean-
to this day.
not to say that we still aren't, but
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah,
dog
but since
shit
then,
together.
it was just like we
Yeah.
hopped in a call, and I was way different in a call. Like I started actually talking to you guys and whatnot. Like I don't know, I would never do that in school. Like in school, I'm that dude that's like mad low key. Like I'm just doing my work. I mean, not really, because I don't really like school. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really doing my work, but
Yeah.
like
you just kind of fade in the back.
I just want to be alone. I really don't want to be put on the spotlight.
I guess bringing it back to college stuff, I think like the reason I went to my college is because part of the fact is that it was small. I mean, I'd gone to private schools most of my life. I mean, I started out in public school, but my parents transitioned me to private school, and I finished off high school that way. And so I liked that small aspect of it. And despite the decent sized price tag, I liked the experience behind it. But I think because I mean the biggest class I've had so far is only 17 people, which is small for college terms. But I think like another reason that I went there is because it came down to two colleges when I was picking my school. It was Western Washington University and University of Puget Sound. Both hugely different schools, but they have their likenesses. And I'd just gone to, I think I went to Western Washington University first, and it was cool. I really liked everything they had. It was big, but I felt like I could go there. Like I felt like it was all there for me. And up until this point, like I was totally like set. Like I was set on Western Washington. It was a good price. Had everything I wanted. It was huge. Like I always thought I wanted a huge school. Then I went to the University of Puget Sound, and it was small, and I loved the architecture, and I don't know. I felt like I could sort of learn there because I wanted to learn as opposed to being forced to learn.
Yeah.
Like in the past, a lot of unless it's my topics of choice, it's very much being pushed to do something. I'm not saying that's completely out of the question, but I mean, I certainly feel like I want to learn a lot more at the University of Puget Sound as opposed to just at a different college. And I think especially with my major computer science, it's a good school for that. I mean, they don't really have much modern majors and much modern variation in majors, but their computer science program is pretty good. I mean, they sort of have that on point. And I'd say I really enjoy a good bit of what I'm doing in my life there.
I mean, yeah, you're fucking good at it, dude. Shit.
Yeah.
I in programming class, we both started the same time, but it was very obvious how fast you were learning and picking up that shit. Like, I just look over and I'm like, God damn, I wish I was that good. But then again, I was like, God damn, this is boring as fuck.
Well, I mean, it was the first class that I really felt like, this is something I'm actually interested in. Like, I want to do this. And I'd spent a lot of time sort of out of class, doing a lot of work and stuff, and that was super fun, and sort of it pushed me to learn more.
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I didn't really like any of the classes. I'm gonna be real. Liberal arts.
Architecture. Our school had no
I know it
architecture.
didn't have architecture, didn't have engineering.
Actually, that's a
It
lie.
just had general classes, and they were taught so dog shit. I mean, multimedia
Yeah.
journalism, I think was the class that I had the most fun in. Then again,
It
it
was the
didn't
most fun, but it was very
it didn't
loose.
have any structured curriculum. Like he'd be like, yeah, we're gonna go off the book today, and we literally never touched that damn book. Like I touched it, but I didn't read it. I just
It's
mainly
tough.
copied the answers off of everybody else's did the quizzes.
Mm.
But like, I feel like we learned a lot though because we were doing the stuff that we wanted to.
Oh yeah,
Like we got to, I think that was the class where we got to sort of use our knowledge and sort of apply stuff the most.
oh yeah. I mean, you got to
And that
make
was
you programmed servers, if I'm not wrong, correct? Like you programmed the server.
Yeah, we did a little bit of server work to set up some website stuff, but that was like, yeah, um, and that was sort of where I could apply my knowledge and
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff, and that was fun, and I
And
learned a lot
you also
from
really
doing that
got
kind
into
of stuff.
animating as well. You started using Blender a lot more, and you started doing a lot of that stuff a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I was also taking a visual effects class at the time,
Oh
uh,
right, yeah.
and yeah, and that was doing that, and so I kind of got to push that field some more, and so that became kind of, I guess, a hobby or a side topic for me to push, and that was super interesting. Um, but no, I really enjoy being at the University of Puget Sound. I think being able to, I guess, live my own life by myself, sort of structured, not relying on mostly anyone else. It's nice, and it's kind of good to be in a fresh place. I mean, like I was where I was living before, like I love it, but at the same time, it feels like I'm being crushed sometimes. So it was nice to kind of go live on my own terms in a way.
Oh yeah. Freedom. And during high school, I always pushed back against my parents because they tried to restrict me a lot of the time. And I get why, and they've let go a lot more because they've realized, you can't hold back a teenager. Teenagers are going to do whatever the fuck they want. They're either going to do it and tell you what they're doing, or if you're restricting them, they're just going to do it in secret. So,
Yeah.
I think the lesson I learned from myself as a child with my parents is have light restrictions so that your kids trust you enough to tell you what they're doing, so you can tell them how to do their whatever they're trying to do safely, right? So,
Hmm.
I mean, like, if they want to speed on the road, tell them, to avoid these areas because there's cops usually watching there or something. Or if they want to go party, tell them how to approach people in a safe way and what to do if
Yeah.
you're getting a little.
I think there still needs to be like an underlying stress that these things aren't the best things to
Oh
be
yeah,
doing.
you
I
need to
mean,
Yeah.
party
you
is
need to
debatable
outline
because
that.
a party can be so wide in terms of what you're doing, but like but speeding, for example, yeah, like I mean, speeding is not necessarily the best thing to be doing, but you're a teenager, of course you're going to be doing
Oh
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just kind of what you people do,
yeah. I
right?
mean, you got to say, hey, these aren't things that are allowed, but if you do them, here's how to do it safely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I'd
yeah,
rather have you do it safely than hide it from me and injure yourself or die.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of like, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't prevent you from doing this, but if you're gonna do it, be safe about it. Be
Yeah.
smart.
Yeti,
What's up?
how would you say that? Because you don't go to college or university, but
Yeah.
you've really pushed your life post high school. You've made sort of some really good choices and sort of
Right.
taken every opportunity you can.
Yeah.
How would you say that your life differs from high school, and sort of what is it now? What is post high school, no college?
So it's kind of weird, right? Okay, cool. So I'm just taking every opportunity as it comes, right? Obviously, college is an option, right? And it's still there. Personally, I didn't take it. I'm like, you know what? It's a lot of money, and I don't have it right now, and it's like that. That kind of scares me. Like I know you can pay it back with a good career, right? Just don't get something that nobody's hiring in, right? But I don't know. Right now, I'm just working really, and I'm just trying to find things like what I really like, because I really don't know what I like, and I definitely knew I didn't want to go into college and get more debt just to change and then change and then change. Because a lot of people say that. Like I've had friends tell me, "You should go to college. Just try it out. Just try it." I'm like, I don't know, but debt doesn't sound like something I just want to try out, my man. Like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna pass on that one, bro. But
Yeah.
yeah, really, it's just been taking every opportunity as it comes. Also, I was not the best student in high school, right? So I want to say my high school sort of held me back in a way, but at the same time I held myself back. Because for example, I was in a video productions class, right? I was going in that class. I had my PC at the time. I was over here trying to do Photoshop. I mean, not Photoshop. Premiere Pro, After Effects. You know what, and everything. And my teacher was like, "Stop. Use iMovie. You can only use iMovie." I was like, "Bro, come on now, son. Come
Jesus
on."
Christ.
Right?
Oh my
And
God.
like I would come in with these like projects that I would make at home. I'd be sleeping at 2 o'clock. I'm like trying to rush this project. It's like the worst 2002 YouTube intro, right? But it's like I'd make it in like After Effects or Blender or something, and like I'd bring it in. And he's like, "No, use iMovie with like
Oh
the
my God.
text that moves across the screen."
Oh,
I'm like, "No, like,
It's like iMovie is so it's good if you just want iMovie. You want what iMovie makes,
yeah,
like the presets and stuff, which
it's
don't
so
look bad,
streamlined.
but
It's streamlined for people
yeah,
who are new to editing, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Final
and for
Final
for
Cut's
people
the
who are new,
advanced.
yeah,
yeah."
yeah.
This
I
is
mean, like, yeah, go on.
I'm just gonna say it's not bad if you just want to like chop and cut, but if you want to do
Mm,
like some sort of actual visual effects, like cool stuff, it's just not gonna cut it.
mhm.
And I held myself back a lot because I really liked science, like that whole science area of school was cool, but I might have disappeared a few days here and there. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. But yeah. So I'm just taking it as it comes, trying to work right now, and I guess I'm gonna see what happens. I'm interested, sort of in the military, but I also know that college isn't the only way anymore. It's definitely a secure way, but a lot of people are doing stuff out here that doesn't require college anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you see,
Do you think? Oh, go on.
yeah, a lot of my friends in college, you talked about, oh, what if I want to do this and then you switch. A lot of my friends switched. One of my friends who was a business major, which Oregon is one of the, I'm not going to say that because Cornell, but one of the hardest or like better business schools out there, and they switched from business, which is like equivalent to going into Cal Poly or something as an architect and switching to a different major. They switched from business to psychology, right? And it's just that psychology isn't Oregon's forte, so it's like switching from a better major to a worse supported major. And I
Mhm.
think the Owen and I were very fortunate because we knew what we wanted to do before we went to the college, or we knew the general field of what we wanted to do. And what people usually try to tell you when they say explore is know what you want to do, so like architecture, and then maybe explore in between that, so landscape, interior, and you just explore in between that, or you can just stay general. And I think that's the problem is that people explore different majors, and I think you should take a gap year and explore like you're doing. You're exploring what you actually want to do with your life, and then if you really want to, you can go get a higher education.
Right.
Mm. I think, I mean, especially going to a small school where there aren't a lot of majors and it's very specific in what you want to do. I mean, you can make your own major, I think, but it's you kind of need support to do that. A lot of people come in with they just sort of say, I want to be an econ major because it's money. But and then I've known a couple people who have just been like, what, I don't like econ that much. This is kind of boring. Like I like sort of ideas about econ. I like stock market, but it's so just dull. Um, and then they switch majors, and I mean that's not a bad thing. I think instead of going to something you want to do as opposed to staying in econ is a great is a it's a good thing. It's following what you want to do, but at the same time that's time taken off where you could be doing other stuff that you wanted to be doing. Um, I mean it it is good in some situations because there are core credits that you have to take and fields that you have to do to graduate as opposed to just your major. So those will fill in those, but you've taken some time off, and it's not necessarily wasted, but that's time gone. Um, Especially if you're going to a small school where you can't really experiment that much. What I was going to ask you, Yeti, was do you think that once you find that thing that sort of makes you take that thing you want to do you think you'll go to college for that, or do some kind of trade school or extended study towards that?
I'm gonna be honest. Like you guys have told me time and time again that college is different from like high school type stuff. I just did not like high school. Like I don't know why. I just did not like high school. Uh, Probably because I wasn't involved with the community at the high school. But I've thought about it like trade school type stuff. But I just don't know if I can do that like 4 5 years. I know. Like I really and I don't want to drop out type stuff. You know.
Yeah.
But I do feel like a trade school type stuff would be cool. And I'm not gonna knock college, right? Like, college is needed for like a lot of things, right? Um, but I just don't know if it's necessarily for me. Like as you said, if I find something, then probably, yeah. If it requires like college, like 6 years or something, probably. If I'm really that passionate about it, but right now I really just don't know what that thing would be, right?
See,
I'm just
I
kind of
disliked
exploring
high school.
everything.
I also dislike
Mm.
high school. Mainly because I was being forced to learn stuff that I didn't deem as useful. Like when you make your mind up about a career, like architecture, for example. I keep overusing this, but I was like, man, I'm doing architecture. I'm a glorified artist. Fuck math. Like I don't want to be taking this math classes. Like if you want to do something and it doesn't have anything to do with the class, your class is bullshit to you. You've made your mind up already. You're like, God, calculus. Ugh. And like
Yeah.
the thing with colleges is you choose your classes, and the classes you're excited about are the classes that relate to your major. So I'm hyped for studio and my construction, like how to do structural management. Like that sounds boring as shit, and it really it does to me too. But I'm excited to learn how to make a building structurally sound. Like that sounds cool as shit. But what I'm not
Mhm.
excited for is my general education. So like, oh, I have to take fucking writing 123. Oh God, like yeah, it's boring, but it's a boring 50 minutes, and then you can look forward to hanging out with your friends and your classes that you actually want to take. So the difference between high school and college is there's a lot more to do that you want to do, right? And
Yeah.
also, if your high school sucked at sports, you have sports that actually are like legitimate and not just like high school dudes trying to make it into D1 athlete positions. Like,
Yo, my high school, bro. I'm pretty sure, like, bro, I feel bad saying this, but I'm pretty sure my high school hasn't won a football game for like the past 18 years or something.
Yeti, I'm gonna tell you something right now.
What?
He hasn't won any sport in like 10
Oh,
years or some shit.
A is better than 18.
True.
Yeah, no, I didn't like high school that much. I mean, I like the people I met and I like some of the classes, but I think the last 2 years of high school were the biggest issue for me because I think up until that point, maybe a little bit earlier, you're learning classes that are you don't necessarily need them, but they're good knowledge to have, and a lot of it is also experimenting. It's figuring out what you want to do in life. But those last 2 to 3 years of high school, I spent sort of extending knowledge that I didn't want to focus on, and at the same time doing the classes that I wanted to do a lot, which I guess has its positives and negatives. I was actually sort of focusing on the stuff I wanted to more, but at the same time, that feels like the education side of college. It's not the lifestyle. I was missing that lifestyle of college, um, and I think you might as well just chop those last 2 3 years off of high school because and just move straight onto college because there is that. It's for me at least it's the same process, and I could be going deeper into the stuff I wanted to do in college and just and not go to high school for 2 years. Not I don't want to say waste 2 years of my life, but just skip over them because I'm doing the same thing I'm doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like shit. People are learning algebra and pre-calc in college. Like, why are we forced to take the shit in high school if
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, I scored bad on my math placement, and now I need to retake this fucking pre-calc class in college. Like, I didn't take 3 years of physics at high school just to take two more terms of physics in college, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need that much physics in my life. Like, I can just drop this shit. Oh wow, gravity. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I'd rather just like skip over the physics in high school and just take it in college.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
the college one is going to be more in depth, there's going to be more freedom into it. It may be a bit harder, but I'm actually probably going to remember that knowledge more. Um, and that's less time of my life that I've wasted.
I think Slater has really ruined my life.
God, don't say it, then everyone will know.
True.
Every student knows
Every
about
student or
Slater.
any student past 10th grade knows what Slater is. You either
Yeah.
go on Chegg or you go on Slater. The
You
Slater is
just
just
don't
the
want
poor
to.
man's Chegg.
Yeah.
I'm lost
You
here.
just don't. You don't know what Slater is?
No.
Oh
Slater
man.
is it's God. Let me change your life right now. Actually, you don't go to college. It doesn't matter for you. But Slater is a website where you can look up your textbook, look up the page, look up the problem, and it tells you the answer and how they got there, their notes. And most of the time it's right. I mean, you have to check it, but most of the time it's right. And so you kind of like you copy it, but at the same time you switch it up around. And I think I used to do this in high school much more. I'd be more reliant in high school when you just want to be done. But in college, it's a thing that you have to be careful with because you become reliant on it. When I was or in college, I try not to use it as much because I want to actually learn what I'm doing. And so the only time I've used it in the past year at college is when I've been really failing at a class and there's not necessarily time to make up the knowledge that I just don't get. And so you need to get done with it, but it's a very rare occasion at that point. At that point, I just want to be done with the class. But you really do need to be careful with it because it can hurt your performance.
Yeah.
Just don't tell the parents.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, the trap that I fall into with Slater is for physics in college. I used it because I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking boring. I already know this shit. In reality, I didn't really know this shit because I was failing the tests. Well, I wasn't failing. I was getting like
Yikes.
C's and shit. I was getting the class average, which let me tell you, college averages are dog shit, bro. Like 60s and shit are average, and they're like, and the teacher's like, all right, the test didn't go so well. And then they show you the average, and you're like, hell yes, I was average. Just usually like 64 or some shit. And they're like, all right, yeah, 60 scores are going to become 80s. We're going to just curve it by 20 points. And you're like, hell yeah, I got to be on the test. Not deserved, but you got to be on the test. And the problem with that is the high school really taught me that I don't give a shit about classes I don't care about. I mean, that makes sense.
True.
But you need to try in those classes to succeed, or else if you fail them in college, you're wasting money, like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you need to take it again, especially if it's required. And I think, like, a lot of people fail college classes. I mean, I have friends who had, like, below 2.0 GPA, and it's also the mental state with grades. I mean, you don't have AP classes anymore to cushion your grade point average by an extra whole point. Like, it's 4.0 is the foreseeable maximum that you can get. And getting a 4.0 is hard as shit. Because some of the professors are like, yeah, A means you're going above effort. I mean, I know a history teacher that we had was like, yeah, you're not going to earn an A just by doing the work that you need to do. You need to really go above and beyond, because that's what an A means. And that means you literally can't get a 4.0. Because if you're just doing the work and you have to focus on other classes, it's almost impossible to get an A in that class.
I think that's sort of why Slater appeals to so many people. I think the best way to use Slater is not to copy it, but to see the answer and say, hey, this is how they got there. It's kind of a last case solution where you've tried the problem millions of times, but you just can't understand that, and your teacher's not available. So it's kind of like a last ditch decision where you need to see the steps. You need to understand why and how you got to this answer. That's sort of the difference between using Slater in high school and college for me. In college, it's more of a last-ditch solution, and it's more of a...
It's like actually a tutor instead of just a resource.
Exactly. It's like having an online tutor. It's just... It's less about the answer and just, the the pen. It's more about like the process and learning how you got to that as opposed to just copying it. And I think that is a really useful thing to have and a really good resource to have.
Oh yeah.
You just have to be wise with it and use it correctly.
So you can't just copy it.
But
You have to like take into account the formula and actually try it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
Especially
cool.
since Slater is really unreliable because it's users helping you. Anybody can write an answer to that problem. And
So
what you
Wikipedia type stuff.
encounter is some really bad answers that are just like, yeah, here's 46, and you're like, how did you get there? And then you type it in, and it's like, that's wrong. And like people in the
Yeah.
comments usually are like, yo, this is horrible. And the thing with
Yeah.
Chegg, Chegg's overpriced as God. Like $26 a month. Oh my God, that's like an Adobe subscription.
Jesus
Whoa.
Christ, my
Yeah,
God.
but the thing is, it's written by professional tutors. That's why it's so good. It's like you pay premium for premium answers. And in college, I was going around. I was like, "Yo, do you have Chegg, bro? Can I split your Chegg? Like, I need Chegg, bro."
Wow.
Like, because
Yeah.
the thing about Slater is sometimes they don't have your textbook, and sometimes like my physics wasn't an actual textbook. I had to look up the question to find the answer, and sometimes I didn't have it. And then you just guess. That's why I did so bad in the physics for college, because I was just like, "Bruh, this isn't on Slater." But guess what? It was on. It was on Chegg. And I was like, I'm not willing to shell out $25 a month so I can cheat.
Yeah. So I guess to wrap things up, Dylan and I know where we're going to be hopefully in the next 3 years. We're going to be at college and we're going to be studying our fields, COVID permitted. Yeti, where do you think you're going? Where do you want to end up?
That's a good question. Where do I want to end up? You mean like at the time that you guys graduate?
Just in the near future. What's your goal?
So I don't really know. I mean, I'm gonna keep taking every opportunity I can. As I said, that's what I've been doing. Just working. But I also actually want to find something to do because I can't just keep working over here and there. I have to find something that I actually like. And hopefully once I find that something that I actually like, I can dive deeper into it, whether that be college or some type of trade or something.
Yeah, because working day by day just isn't it.
Like changing it up, it's just like you're never gonna get good at anything. You're just gonna be sort of decent at a lot of things, and it's not really reliable, long term. Yeah, so hopefully I can find something that I like, I'm passionate about, and I can pursue long term career.
That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah.
I mean, hey man, there'll be openings at my architecture firm in like 50 years or something.
Yo, trust, bro. I'll be there. I'll be walking in with my cane. Trust.
You can design a building for Yeti's company when he just outperforms us all.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Trust, bro. Trust.
He does like an insane stock trading company or something.
Honestly, Jesus Christ.
Trust. I'm gonna win the lottery, bro.
Honestly, do it. Just slide a check over my way. You got my routing number. You know where to send it. Hey man, I need that Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio, man. I need that.
Let's be real. You know my passwords.
No, you changed them.
True.
Well, most of them.
Okay, buddy.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap things up. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening on whatever platform you're on. We have some more of these coming out over the next couple weeks, or I guess in a month or so, because we all have big things that are coming up in our lives in the next couple weeks. So we're gonna be on a bit of a break, but hopefully we are gonna be back on with some better equipment, some I guess some more conversation topics. And just talking about a bunch of stuff that I guess are personal, and at the same time, we want to be able to share our experience and our knowledge with everyone else. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. Our social media is in the description. Most of the stuff we've talked about is in the description of a YouTube video, of course. Yeah, leave some comments. If you have anything you want us to talk about in general, let us know. We'd be happy to. Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to say?
No, I think
that's about
wrapped it up nicely.
Great. No, remember to follow, subscribe. Get ready for some more content coming in the future.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.
This is Akrazia Late Night. I hope you guys have a good night.